Yo, my sovereigns, what up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 169 of Splinterlands 101. Joining us once again, host of the show, finest gentleman who ever lived, chairman of the DAO, Matt Clark.
Howdy, howdy.
What's new?
Yeah, lots of stuff is new every week. I finally knuckled down and pulled a whole lot of cards off land, the research and SPS plots specifically, and so that took a while. I was pulling them off each one by one, and each card one by one, including Rooney and totems and titles, and then I realised there's the clear all button. And just tried clicking that, and yeah. So of course it was 80% done before I thought to look around. And anyway, I was at work, so no biggie. I didn't register that there was that 3-day cooldown, so a lot of the cards I was looking for to reassign to plots, I couldn't see. So I'm just going to leave it alone for a little while and just let everything settle down and then go back to it. So I forgot about my Rooney, so I'm going to reassign my Rooney there, work out where's best to place them, because I have 4 of those guys. I was even thinking maybe bring one back to battle with. But speaking of battles, survival mode, I've been realistically. I went to pay the 2,000 DEC for the battle pass, and I mean obviously it's not a big expense, but I thought I would just try a bit of survival, and I submitted teams for my guild brawls. So I knew I had sort of that what's it, like 3-4 day buffer, before I'm going to need them again. So I thought let's just go hard on survival. So I'm in like silver 3, and I'm making like 20 to 25 SPS per win. But of course, when I lose, I lose those cards. They go out of circulation for a while. So it's interesting to see the dynamics in there. I've found it's more engaging because there's some real stakes to it. Like if you win, you're winning a decent chunk of SPS. But if you lose, it kind of sucks that those cards are out of commission. I'm finding I'm going to be real careful when I go back through and I love this card and this card and this card, but I forget that I'm looking at the gold foil variant that might be 2 or 3 levels lower, because my normal highest level, max level version of that card is on cooldown, because I forgot that I killed it however long ago. Back to basics, I'm learning to hate, because even when you win, you lose almost all of your cards. Like, you got two teams in back to basics with both doing, say, magic damage, and they just wear each other down. You've got one last guy standing, and I had that. I had a full roundup of cards, really high mana magic cards, and I ended up my Alric and my Shock Trooper were the only ones that actually survived the battle, even though I won.
That's probably 2 of the better cards, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're the ones you really want, but obviously you've almost got to look at it and choose in your lineup and say, right, even if I win, I'm going to lose almost all of these cards. So who do I really want to keep? I'll put him at the very back. Yeah. And that's interesting, because that could affect your strategy for actually that match. You might want to win the match, you might want to say, well, I'd like this lineup, but hang on, there's one card that I really don't want to lose because he's valuable in something else that I play. I'm going to put him last instead. And you could lose because of that too. So you're not playing match by match. You're playing your deck as efficiently as you can think. So it's good. It's fun. I like it. I'm enjoying it. Bulldog mentioned something that I'd noticed, which is, and I don't know if this is, I'm assuming it's bot behavior, but when somebody, because you can see your opponent's name, it's published. When an opponent realizes that they can't beat you, when they look at that and their bot looks at your account and says, no, he has too many cards, he's too high level, he's too capable of beating me, what they'll do is they'll just play a 1 BCX summoner and a 1 BCX trash card, and just like they lose, but they're not losing much because you think there's no energy, right? And if they have 1,000 copies of those 2 cards, which might be a cent each to buy, well then they can just say, oh no, the bot can be set up to just default lose this one, throw this match. And why waste 7 max level cards when you can just waste 2 1BCX cards. Yeah. So there's some game theory there coming up where and I mean it's obviously it's more reassuring when you see that their lineup is that, because you're not going to lose any cards yourself. You're just going to blow that one card away and then win, and you win 25 SPS or whatever. But it's not interesting or gripping from a gaming perspective. It's just somebody cheesing the they're basically saying, oh, I'm going to lose this match, so I just won't lose anything of value. Yeah. Whereas the match before, you might have knocked somebody's level 4, level 5 Quora out of commission for a couple of days. That feels good, man. That feels really good to bump off somebody's card. Not just the minor inconvenience, but actually, especially if there's guild brawls coming up or something, and you're just, I mean, look, people have multiple copies of cards, and you never know. But there is something that tickles me about knocking out a full team of really, really good high level cards. I think it's great for the game. Survival's great for the game. So yeah, but between pulling all my cards off of land and waiting for various different cards to come off cooldown and ready to be reassigned to land, and burning through time crystals, that my dwindle of time crystals is shrinking as I've gone from I want to switch from research hut to make it a stone or a wood or so that's it. There are switching costs there, and if things change and the resources become more prolific and I have enough of them and I want to swap those plots back maybe to then I've got 4 or 5 days of waiting for the switching the plot from a quarry back to a research hut or back to an occupied shard mine. So yeah, but for now I think we'll just leave it as one of my regions. I have a heap of grain and a heap of wood coming in, so I'm just trying to make just enough stone and iron to trigger those harvests and then build up a stockpile of wood. And the other one is kind of just a smattering of different plots. But I didn't have that many plots operating. It's just I had really high level cards and totems and titles on them. So I really feel for someone who has, say, 20 common plots and unremarkable cards with not a lot of PP on there, because it's so much harder to balance the inputs and the outputs when you don't have those multipliers. And you can get it wrong, and you can, like we discussed with Dave when Dave was on, you can get it wrong and actually be not just. I mean, you can't lose the stuff that you have, but you can you can spend more resources to acquire a resource than what it's worth. So you can make a bad trade effectively, which hasn't been an option really before. So yeah, it's all. Hammer and tongs. There's a lot of talk of Conclave Arcana, a lot of excitement. I'm seeing a lot of buzz on Twitter. I checked the Chaos Legion pack price, and that's looking pretty decent. And I might just share screen. That's my go-to for just you got to enable. That's my go-to for the health of the game. So there's we can zoom out on that. No. But yeah, Chaos Legion packs, Candlestick. So there's definitely enthusiasm growing as the EV of those cards grows, the pack price grows, and over time I think I could expect to see that increase as DEC becomes harder to get. Getting it out of burnt cards from CL packs is going to wreck the supply. And then it's always the hope that new big, I mean, it's DEC is a product backed stablecoin, and there are no products really to buy with it at the moment apart from loose cards. But to actually buy in bulk from Splinterlands, you don't really have any options right at the moment because Rebellion's out of the shop, it's sold out, and Conclave Arcana is not available yet. So let's hope that with 1.75 and a lot of people firing up more land plots and devoting the DEC to stake that into land, plus the sales of Conclave Arcana all going through through that flywheel process to move. So people with SPS who haven't been stockpiling DEC once we get peg, once the DEC reaches peg, then it's more efficient for them to burn the SPS for new DEC to buy their packs with, rather than buying it off the market. So we get to that, but as the enthusiasm grows, DEC grows up to the peg, but then once it hits that soft peg of $1,000 to $1, then SPS starts growing instead. That's just the way the flywheel works. So we just need to get back there. And I think when we run out of cheap Chaos Legion packs, where it's once they hit that, once buying those and burning the cards in them for DEC becomes more expensive than buying SPS and burning it for DEC, then we'll really start to see some appreciation in the SPS price.
Yeah.
Not financial advice.
There's a few things I can't actually remember now what I was going to say as you were going along. Where did you start? Because you covered a lot of stuff.
I talked about survival mode.
Yes, yeah. So
cards.
Splex hasn't worked for a while, so I thought I'll have a go at survival mode on my rental account because it's got multiple copies of it's. They're all very low BCX, but I thought, well, while Splex isn't working, I can't rent the cards out, so I had to go. I won my first battle in survival, and I thought, what? No rewards? What's going on? I realized, of course, because it's my rental account, I've got no SPS on that account because all my SPS is in my gaming accounts, So it's like, so I might have another go, but maybe on my silver account. I don't want to, because I get good merits and good SPS in the brawls and the battles on Boba Fett, so I don't want to risk that account. But yeah, I might have a go on my silver account next season. Just for one season, just give survival a go.
Well, I think survival, you've kind of got to. We're used to the idea of climbing fast, right? Where you go, okay, I'm in wild, I'm going to go try modern, and I'll battle for 3 or 4 days and see if I can get to diamond in modern. Survival is very different to that because you'll come up against all sorts of different teams, and you will lose your best cards on the way climbing up. So I was climbing from wood into mid bronze. I lost enough battles that I had to sort of slow down and do other things, and then come back to it when my cards were off cooldown. And so then you're like, well, okay, I need to. So it's a slower process, I guess, climbing in survival. But presumably, once you get to the level that you want, then you can start penciling in. Okay, I'm going to get some wins and harvesting rewards. But I think that that climb is something that you need to take into account. So I don't know if one season of survival is really the going to give you a fair. Yeah. I think you maybe pencil in and say, look, I'm going to try for 3 seasons. I'm going to see how high my deck can get me in survival mode, and I'm going to just not worry about guild brawls maybe, or so that your cards are just totally devoted to climbing in survival mode. So
yeah,
but I like it. It's more engaging. Like I say, watching a bit of Bulldog's stuff. His stream. I think it's more engaging and fun to watch somebody playing survival mode because it's just so much more high stakes.
Yeah. And I think you touched on there with the land. I figured let's have a look because we rearranged all my stuff last week. Actually, here's something we should talk about too. The DAP list.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I was having a look at it earlier. We could have a look at that later too. But
that's a great idea.
So look, land. Because I'm curious to see what the production side of things is going to be after all that messing around. So 5 days ago. Okay, so this one is harvesting grains. This should be regular. Yeah. So if I just keep harvesting grain, it's not costing me anything else.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused on that because I wasn't quite sure when I was pulling things off exactly how that worked, because I believed that you needed every resource to harvest any resource, but that might not actually be the case.
Yeah.
Because it certainly doesn't look that way, does it? Like, maybe just click on that and see if anything else pops up. If you only need grain to harvest grain, well, does simplify things.
Yep. Okay, so that's it. Yep. Only need grain to harvest grain. All right, let's look in Kifton. Okay, so that's right. I decided I kept the research because I didn't want to lose research, but maybe I should change this one then.
Well, it depends, how much you value research. It's really difficult to do because we don't actually have, any real insights into what it's going to be worth down the track. Yeah. I've got 2.5 million stacked, so I figured, well, that's going to be sufficient for whatever, and just pulled everything off of research. But I don't know. The other thing is too, like I said before, the switching costs. You've got to pay time crystals or be down for 4, 5, 10 days, depending on the PP of your monster, just to switch from a research hut to whatever else could be harvested on that natural plot. And assuming that it's getting its 100% bonus for being magical, you're going to lose that as well. So yeah, it's a difficult decision, and you'll need some. Looks like you're in deficit for the resources that you need.
Yeah, well, the only resources I've really got is the grain.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess maybe
the last
maybe
one.
go
on. Oh shit! I was just okay. There's no careful caution. Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. So
that's all right. So
9,000 stone.
That's interesting. So claiming harvesting stone and harvesting grain didn't cost you the other resources?
No. Looks like only SPS and research.
Yeah, I might be in better condition than I thought then.
Because all 3 plots on this one, where are we? Queenstone, yeah. Last week we changed them all to stone.
Yeah, so. And that just cost you grain to harvest then, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's simpler then. I was overthinking it. I thought every resource was required to harvest any resource, but I guess it just costs you grain to harvest any resource. Apart from research and SPS. That's interesting. Well, how about do you want me to share screen and I'll jump on my production and have a look?
Yep.
Let's do that. Because I only changed it about 12 hours ago, I reckon. There you go, 11 hours ago, 10 hours ago. So if we go to, so looking at this, I've only got 28 and 30, and this is including plots that I'm not actually, that have previously been built on, but I've pulled the cards off of. So I'm really not using a lot of my land in percentage terms, but it's the pristine, it's like the creme de la creme of plots. So we go work site, grain, iron, all of these research, all of these SPS, right? I'm not using anymore. I've pulled off all the cards. Yeah. We've just got a stone, a wood, a grain, and an iron. So one of each for this plot, for this region. And over here we've got, here's the requirements. So I need a little bit more grain per hour. I've only making 650 grain per hour. I need another 1,000 on top of that. But then beyond that, I'm making a decent amount of the other 3 resources.
Yeah.
So I do need to, when these cards that I had on land come off cooldown, I'm going to throw a heap more in there. I've got heaps of the DEC staked, so that won't be an issue. And again, I've got the Rooney and the like. But this is what I don't get, right? So it's saying here, because I only have wooden on this. Oh, Maybe I just didn't wait for things to refresh. Did you see that there? It said I need stone and iron.
No, I didn't notice that.
Okay, yeah, it was red saying I need to be this much stone and this much iron. But
okay.
if I only have wood and grain plots, right, in this region, I've only got wood and grain, and they're all legendaries here, or yeah. If I've only got wood and grain, then I shouldn't need stone and iron. But when I first clicked in here, it showed that I'm going to need. Okay, cool. I was wrong. I like being wrong about stuff like that, or finding out that I was wrong, because then, yeah. Okay, lovely. I think I'm in good nick. I just got to wait a few days for those cards to come off cooldown, and then I'll throw them at it. But yeah, when you're looking at like how much you pay in versus how much you get out, if you have the real high level plots with the multipliers and the boosts and the like, with the totems and the titles, that is just such a more efficient way of doing it if you can, just because it costs you less resources to harvest more of what you're harvesting. So yeah, all right, cool.
So you're gonna have a match, are you, in survival?
Yeah, I can have a look at that. I think I should have time before. I'll share screen again then. Should have time before I need the cards for the next brawl. I sneak it in. So 120 depleted cards, and they're the ones I use all the time. So it's gonna suck. I probably won't win. So I don't know what the fix is to the exploit that I mentioned earlier, and there's always one, right? There's always something that's, because we talked about this, about not submitting a team, and apparently if you don't submit a team, somebody, I think it was on YouTube, suggested that if you don't submit a team, the game will actually grab cards at random and throw them in there. Yeah. Because I was worried about people gaming the it doesn't look good, I don't like this rule set, I don't, I'm not going to win, all right, I'll just not submit cards. And apparently you can't do that, but as long as you submit one summoner and one card, and they can be any old trash, 1 BCX stuff. Yeah, so I don't know what the solution is to that. I think Bulldog was saying just remove the ability to see your opponent's name, which makes sense, right? If you can't see who you're up against, that was the way it was for a long time. Yeah. If you can't see who you're up against, then you don't know what condition they're in. You don't know which of their cards is depleted. Because I almost feel anecdotally...
The problem with that system, though, was we can't do that, but bots can, because that information is available on the blockchain. So the bots are able to scan the blockchain to get that information, even though we could. So that's why they started showing the name, because it was disadvantaging players by not showing the game, because the bot could see, but people couldn't. Yeah,
that's funny. I remember it differently to that.
Yeah. How do you remember it?
I remember
hang on.
Being...
Pick your team. I don't want to stuff you off here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it becomes more a case of, after a while in survival, it's more a case of, okay, who do I have left? But it's 42 mana standard rule set. So which way, Western Man? Okay, maybe Obsidian. Go on Magic Heavy. Magic Heavy Earth team. You and you.
No fungus flingers.
No, well, they're ranged. I do have him. He's not out of commission. But let's give that a shot.
All right.
Yeah, the way I remember it is that when we removed the bots from Modern, then it was decided that we didn't need to obscure the opponent's name anymore, and because bots were free to do that in Wild, and they weren't allowed in Modern at all. So it was decided to re-add the name of your opponent back in, because because that information was of no value to a human player in modern, and so we could allow it again. But I might be remembering that wrong, admittedly. But for whatever reason, I would say, based on what I've seen in survival, we can't have a situation where a bot is able to. I feel like as I was climbing, when I first broke into silver, I was up against those teams quite a lot. They would just pop it open. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, yeah, I can see what they're doing. And so after a while, though, after I'm trying to climb in silver, and I'd come up against a few, and there's some names I haven't seen for a while in there too. So it's him. I haven't seen him for ages. I'd come up against max level cards and get lose my hull. The more I lost cards, the less likely it was to come up against one of those teams. And I kind of feel like bots are scanning my account, seeing that I have, instead of max level cards of whatever different editions across however many splinters, as they're seeing that I have fewer and fewer cards available, the bot's discerning it's more worth taking me on than just auto losing. So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't necessarily paying attention to that, but afterwards, when I was sort of recovering and licking my wounds after 5 losses in a row, I remember thinking, hang on, why am I not facing off those teams anymore? I'm still in silver 3, getting closer to silver 2, but I'm not coming up against them, the fewer cards I have available to battle. So I think that's something that they're going to need to be addressed, because it doesn't make for good viewing. It's not interesting, and you kind of feel like you're getting played, right? Like, if you're going to pony up 7 max level cards for this battle, and this guy's only facing the loss of 2 BCX total, well, yeah. All right, let's have a watch, shall we?
All right, so what do you think here from Darth Homer?
Well, I like my chances.
Yeah, I do.
I think just here, 4 magic damage. He's not. There's no silence anywhere. She could wreck some stuff if she hits the right spot, and she's going fast. But again, scattershot is going to leave things, leave all of my cards partially damaged rather than focusing that firepower anywhere specific. So I'd be confident that I've got this one.
What are you going to lose? What could you lose out of here?
I think I'll lose one of these 4 cards down here.
Yeah, only one?
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to lose maybe one of these 2.
Okay.
But the others, I think, will survive. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking you've got it. But the Sinash on the other team, I think, is going to take out your Goblin Sorcerer. He's only got 3 life, so 1 hit and he's gone.
Yeah. And I mean, she could hit Jin Bielka as well. Camouflage, I don't think, protects her from scattershot. Boom.
Yeah.
So the speed there, it's all about luck. But I think long term, because they're not able to do much damage to my slip spawn. That was good. So it's kind of bittersweet because I won, but I've lost a couple of good, couple of valuable cards there.
Yeah.
23 SPS.
23 SPS, yeah.
Yeah. So there's the rundown, and it's certainly no win streak there. So yeah, I mean that's in silver. Where are we? Silver 3, midway through, not even midway through silver 3. So this is where I was on a bit of a tear, and that's upsetting because you get on a not a tear, on a tilt, and you just start spiraling. But where is it here?
Did you see the other Darth Homer there as you're scrolling through? The guy you just beat, you beat him before as well. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
There he is. There. That's the guy you just played then. Darth Homer.
But Vedev, I've seen him a bit on Neil McSpadden's been doing his Monster Mavericks show, so it's great to see Neil around. Sinister, it's been ages since I've come up against him. I think he's been higher level in either modern or wild. While
I still come across him in the brawls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because you kind of know these people without knowing them, right? Like, yeah, it's funny. I've got years of history with people that I could walk past on the street and not even recognise. I was going to look for a back to base.
This Darth Omer guy must really hate you because you've beaten him 3 times in that list. The same guy.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. So what have I been winning here? So 17 SPS, 23 loss, 22. So it's fairly constant there around that. Oh, that's a bit less, and I don't know why that would be. It's coming off the back of a win, and I've maybe just needed to use a gold card or two to get the multiplier. 21, 26. That was a decent one. 26. Couple of losses there. Yeah, quite a few there. There's my losses, and yeah, 24. I was going to say that back to basics, but I think it's gone off the bottom of the page now. Yeah, so back to basics. Really, when I see that, I'm just like, and I almost feel like that's one of the ones where I would, if I was set up and wanted to game it, I would just say, look, even if I win, I'm going to lose, so I'm just going to throw in a 1 BCX Tarsa and a 1 BCX whatever, put in a anything, and then just lose that instead of losing all these high level cards, definitely. So yeah, back to basics I would like to see stripped from survival mode. I think it's too damaging even when you win. That's my take on it.
All right. Speaking of rule sets, what are we up to? We're up to, we did beefcakes last week. So we're up to the corrosive one. They changed all the names of the rule sets, and I can't remember half the new ones. But yeah, the corrosive ward there's 2 corrosive rule sets. This is the corrosive ward. So I guess actually before we get into the glint and the battling, remember earlier I said let's take a look at that competition.
Yes.
What was it? Where's my Zoom page gone? There we go. No?
Yeah, I went looking for it last night following the instructions, but on the actual main site, I couldn't find Splinterlands. I noticed it was tagged DeFi and games, and I tried selecting both of those, and it just wouldn't come up. Couldn't find it.
The post is by Cold Beetroot Soup. So yeah, basically with this one here, create yourself an account. Gives you instructions how to do that. You need to actually link a wallet. It shows you how to do that for Trust Wallet. If you don't have one, there's like 30 wallets or something this thing supports. If you don't have one of them, click this link here where it says this tutorial. It opens up a link to YouTube video that shows you how to create a Trust Wallet. Vote for Splinterlands, take a screenshot, drop it as a comment into this article, and yeah, they're going to be doing some rewards. So there's something to keep an eye on for as well. And remind today that we're looking at the Blood and Sunder rule set, which means everyone has corrosive ward. And there's some key points, because this is actually a handy little page. Like immunity doesn't grant resistance to corrosive ward. Little things like that. These are questions that come up all the time with various different rule sets, like how does this one affect this one, and so forth. Reflection shield protects the unit against corrosive ward. That's good to know. Armor that has been reduced by corrosive ward cannot be repaired. Didn't know that one either.
Yeah, it strips off the armor. It's -2 to armor and -2 to your max armor as well.
Yeah. But units that are resurrected will return with their original amount of armor. Yep, that's normal. Right. And triage will attempt to heal even if it's afflicted. So that's a handy one here for the weak magic as well. If you got weak magic along with blood and sunder. Yeah, retaliate, obviously not a good thing to have.
Not if you're relying on armor. If you're relying on something like shield or high health or something, then it's not going to affect you too badly.
Yeah, of course. If you've got a lot of shields every time you retaliate. All right, and I will drop the link to this page into the blog as well, so you can have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a handy resource.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, what's going on there with the dog?
Yeah, I don't know. He's helping.
All right, so it's shopping time, I guess. Last couple of episodes where we've normally had our Glint spend. We've had things on, or we've had guests on the show. We've never actually. Wow, how many challenges have you sent me, man?
I just sent the one. It must have refreshed or something. I don't know.
All right, let me try refreshing the page. All right. Shop rewards. So I've got 552,000 glint to spend. So as usual, let's begin with the ultimate chests. $30 of. There we go. Some legendary action. Okay, Weaver. Getting a bit of merit action. Not a whole lot. Yep. Nothing to write home about, as they say. One legendary, one epic, and a few merits.
You started strong.
Yeah, started strong. All right, 150 major chests. Couple of epics. Another couple of epics. Were they Olivia's? Merits are rolling in. Let's go well.
Again, it just feels like the majors are better bang for your buck.
I think so, definitely. Another legend. Yeah, I definitely am a fan of the major chests over the ultimate chests. Definitely, yeah. I mean, sure, there's a lot more of them, but even still, like you say, bang for buck, much better. Now, were they? Yeah, they were. 2 Olivias. Nice. 2 Olivias, 2 Thanalorians. Some Golf Worlds. Yeah, happy with much happier with those chests than I was with the ultimates. And why not? Let's do the minor chests. We've got plenty of glint to spend tonight. Gold foil. Again, the merits are just rolling in. Interesting to see after this how many merits I've got towards the next pack opening. Another gold foil.
Yeah, I was thinking of that, and then my nephew came around and asked if he could open some stuff, and so he's a good kid, so just kind of
he's a good
let
egg.
him go nuts.
He's a good egg.
He's a good egg. So we opened 20 Gladius cases together, and so I don't know if I'll be participating any time in mass Gladius case openings. I just can't hang on to them. I want to open them.
Yeah.
I really want to get Quora up to, well, max eventually.
Those merits. Getting a few Slades in this one. Another gold foil. All right, that took a while. But yeah, again, happy with that for what they are. Really starting to think that these ultimate chests are a bit of a scam. And what have we got left? We've got 207. Let's go with the epics. 25 epics.
That Arachne Weaver I found really good in survival mode.
Yeah.
Because he heals up all of your cards. If you win a match, it's actually quite common that you carry all of your cards through because he does that corrupted healing, right? So ordinarily in a match, you're going to probably lose a couple of cards. But with him on your team, all of those cards that probably would have died, they tend to get. So it's more about like if you win and he's in your team, you're far more likely to bring all of your cards safely out of battle because of the corrupted healing. So I found him and Usut were really valuable. Usut self-heals and then corrupted healer up the back, healing everybody. I found that was often enough to get the job done and just not lose those chickens and fiends that are annoying to lose.
Yeah. Well, lots of shock troopers. A few Night Reapers, couple of Olivias. Not bad. No, buttload of shock troopers though, including a gold foil.
Yeah,
one.
They're so valuable. So valuable in Back to Basics.
Okay, 20k left. What can we get for 20k? Nada. I'm going to save that for next season.
Alrighty.
Right, you got about 500k to spend as well?
Yeah, just under 475. Let me.
Right, well, combined with mine, that's over 1 million glint that we've just spent.
It is. I'm going to grab a whole heap of epics.
All right.
I've only got one alchemy potion. Oh, I should be right. Yeah, I love troopers, so I just want to stack those. And I'm sort of engaging in survival. I kind of feel like having multiple copies of. Yeah, very useful in Back to Basics. There was a gold in there. Arachne Weaver. Yeah, there's a lot to like there. Who turned gold on me? Oh, him, Night Reaper. Another excellent card. See, I like all of these. I'm really finding uses for them.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. Epics, and then let's flesh out the rares a little bit, perhaps. Do 100 rares. I haven't done the rare draws before.
Okay.
Haven't prioritized it, but considering that I get the cards anyway. Sorry, go on.
Oh, so because you get commons and rares, you get plenty of in your shit chests anyway. So it's.
But I don't really open chests. I don't.
That's right. Yeah, because you don't want the energy or the.
That's right. Because I'm not. Because I play manually, it's difficult enough to keep up with the 1 an hour, and also in survival mode, I'm not burning through energy. Plenty of Slades. He's really, really good. So I'm looking.
I love Slade.
Up the level. I know I'm in trouble when I see Slade. Getting one of those turn gold?
No, I don't think so.
Mary
put Slinger. Yep.
Yeah. The rest, no. So I guess those gold potions do work when you have them. I should have thought about stocking up on those before I did the... But all good, either way. So I'm going to have to go through and have a bit of a look at what I can... Well, let's just do the commons then. We got 400 commons for 60k.
All right.
Let's grab those. Excessive opening times. Challenge accepted. I've not seen this animation either. Reveal all. Let's get it done. I do like the skink. Only turning gold. Getting a lot of chaos evokers.
Until you mention it, then you don't get any more.
That Haller and Huntress is really good too, especially in Earthquake, I've noticed. Yeah, with survival mode, often, a lower BCX variant of a card will do the same job, right? Like it's not necessarily, if it's not max level, it's not going to work for me. It's the game's really well designed like that. I find there's been several times, sort of like I mentioned, I'll go to grab my max regular foil version and forgot that it's been bumped out of battle. It's recovering, convalescing, and I got a gold foil that's a couple of levels lower, and I'll just play that instead. And often it, fills the same role. So having multiples, I think, is really more appealing now because of survival mode.
Yeah.
And I'm less concerned that I'm going to have unusable multiple copies of a card, like with the previous reward cards, where it was like, well, do I just burn them, or do I pay to unblock them and then try to sell them on the market for more than sort of. Survival mode sort of gives you more of a reason or excuse to have multiple max copies of a card. I'm less concerned about going overboard, You
got a lot of skinks in that. You got a lot of skinks. Yeah.
Yeah. What have we got here? 154. So maybe just grab some legendaries. 140. Just grab 4 legendaries.
All right.
I probably should have saved my patience for those. All right. Endless Gibbon. I've really not looked at him. Warborn Chieftain. I need to max him, so that's good. I'm getting ones I don't have.
Okay, well, that's good.
And Rifsy. Yeah, okay. I didn't have any, I don't have any of those maxed, so it's really just about finding that niche, and I've only got 14,000 left. I might just buy some merits with that perhaps and call it a day.
Okay.
So I guess battling. Let's battle.
Yeah.
let's do the thing. Get a couple of those matches in. I don't have really a lot of insight, on this corrosive. It's is it Blood and Sunder, I think, is the rule set.
Blood and Sunder, yeah.
Yeah. It's not one of the rule sets that kind of sticks out for me as something I have a specific strategy for. It's just kind of, well, I guess I won't use much armor. I guess Shatter's less valuable.
Less important,
yeah. Since it's so, somebody like Immortalis is probably not going to get a run because he gives Shatter to everybody, and you're just going to assume there's not going to be much armor played to get shattered anyway. I'd say your other ways of surviving.
So Reflection Shield is a handy one to know.
It is, yeah. But yeah, just having high health reservoirs, or and assuming that your opponent will have that. So playing a lot of cripple maybe would be a good. Right, like you're not worried about coming up against armor, but if you've got a lot of cards that are each doing a little bit of damage, but each crippling, you could really bring some of those bigger, like Bakjira, the kind of guys that you're likely to come up against. You can play, you can expect those, and you could cripple them right down. I'll send you this challenge.
Thorns would be handy too, because that's another way that you're actually causing damage to your opponent.
Yeah. But you would assume they're not going to play too much melee. I guess if they're playing melee without the armor, but like you say, Thorns is good if they're likely to play Retaliate, and you mentioned that was not going to be you don't want to play too much Retaliate in Blood and Sunder. I've just sent you a challenge.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if I can scratch a team together with what's left. The leftovers of the devastation. No, don't have him. All of my regulars. It's funny because if someone else had been playing Survival on my account, I wouldn't be as crippled by it, because they would have used different summoners than what different cards. All right.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting ranged. You got some silence.
Well, I was throwing out ranged because I wasn't expecting armor. Yeah. Yeah, I got a little bit of silence there with my last guy, and you're not going to target him anytime soon. So that does reduce incoming. I've got my Beetle Queen healing up Gorth, but I'm not going to do too much damage to your tank there, Gino Shannis, because of his force field. But it's about wrecking your back row, I guess, with my other cards. So it's about how lucky I get with the scatter shot.
Yeah.
If I can really sink my teeth in a couple of shots early into the same card, then I don't think you're going to have the magic damage to punch through. I think there's going to be an RNG one though, because I could see 5 scenarios where I definitely win and 5 scenarios where you definitely win, depending on how forgiving the game is. I don't really have blast either. Normally with scattershot, blast will help you pick up a couple of easy kills.
Yeah.
I'm hoping stun on my spark pixies there does some stuff. I've got a couple of stuns, so scattershot and stun often works well together because you're not risking, like if your whole team's targeting the one card, then having 3 stun cards is kind of redundant. You can only stun a card once. But if that procs on different cards, then that might stop you from attacking me for a round. I think I'll win it.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I think I got this one. So let's have a
look.
All
right, cool. Let's there's some angst there then. So your heaviest hitter's almost out. There she is. Look at that.
Yeah.
Incredible. That was just the RNG that I was talking about, yeah?
The redemption, of course, didn't help.
Everyone targeted your heaviest hitter. That was RNG really looking after me there. At first. Let's see if it follows through.
There goes my machine. Yeah, your last stand is going to wreck me.
Yeah.
Oh,
there we go.
Look at that. There you go.
The misses, though.
Go.
Well, look.
Don't blame the missus. This has got nothing to do with her.
That's great. That's great. And look, on the plus side, I lost, but I didn't lose any of those cards, which is a nice little rewiring of my. I was watching it and thinking, oh no, I'm going to miss that card. I'm going to miss him. That's all right. I'm not going to lose him. It's just a challenge. Let's go again, shall we? Blood and Sunder. Gladiators, send. It does force you to make, different decisions, try different things, which I think is really good too. Like I think spending some time in survival, which I'm warming to, might make me a better player. Something has to, right?
This is a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm mixing things up a bit too. Let's see how we go. Oh, I think you might be in trouble here, Bob.
Yeah. 3 snipers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 snipers and an opportunist gladiator. So my Bertral's going to take out your chicken and get tougher. And I don't think you're doing enough damage with your. Yeah, you might hit me with poison and afflict early on my cube.
My taunt won't attract your snipers.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, what am I thinking? Of course, slip swap is the taunt. Okay, you're in a lot less trouble than I thought then, because you've got time then, while I work my way through your slip spawn, who's being healed by goblin. Yeah, okay, you might be. Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, and I went I deliberately because I thought such low mana. Let's just get everyone going for the same thing. And I thought I'll chuck in a couple of silences because you're bound to go magic, but you went ranged again. So,
yeah, and none of my cards are hitting that 5 to doing 5 damage to reduce it down to 1. So I do kind of feel like I might punch through your slip spawn a bit faster than I'm thinking. But again, it's going to be RNG. Like I know I said that about the last match, and then I had like almost flawless RNG and lost anyway. But
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you get some poison and affliction into my cube early, then it's all over.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get to your back line.
You reckon I'm going to punch through?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to actually get to your back line.
Yeah, well, no one's healing the cube except itself, so I think if affliction lands, I'm going to be in real trouble.
Okay.
It's funny because we both think the last match we both thought we were going to win, and now we both think we're going to lose.
Yeah, the cube is just
the cube's brutal, but only when he's that's great. Cube's great at the end of a match when there's been a whole lot of people died. Maybe you throw in some last stand, but he doesn't have a lot of you're hitting with a lot of magic damage there, even though he has void. You get some poison and afflict on there, he's not going to last. All right, let's have a crack. Let's play and see what happens.
Well, even in round 1, everything hitting him, that's only 9 damage. So
yeah, but he only has 13. If he gets afflicted, then what's going to happen in the next round, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Let's see then. Poison. That's something that neither of us thought about before, and we both got poisoned.
He didn't land the afflict.
Yeah,
yes, I wasn't thinking about Bertrand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that new fella. We'll have a decider, shall we?
Yep.
I really like that new 1 mana. What's his name? Why is it not coming up? All right. The new reward card. This creepy looking elf guy. I can never remember his name. Boba Fett. Just because two snipe range damage for 1 mana is so difficult to pass up. Blood and Sunder, Gladiators.
All right.
Crap. Going to play a card, but I've lost her. Oh, all of my favourites. Who did this to me?
All right. Oh, okay. Fling out the big guns. I'm curious to see what Muscavo is going to get here. Is he going to get melee attack or is he going to get ranged attack? I'm hoping he gets ranged, obviously, but...
yeah. Won't he get both?
Does he?
I think he gets both.
Okay.
Nice. Pretty confident. It's funny because I was looking at weapons training too, but I decided not to.
Yeah, whenever I put Crash in as my tank, I love this guy because he's got reach and weapons training. It's perfect. These two just go so well together.
Yeah, agreed.
And also reflection shield as well. So.
Yep. So if he comes up against thorns, he's not going to struggle. I'd almost like your second card to be faster, so there's the potential there for the dwarf to retaliate and blast your first 3 cards, but my dwarf's going to die to Crash Wonderford. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
To your gladiator straight off with the thorns. It's funny because I picture like if I use a real like a volatile exploding guy up front, I'm less worried that he's going to get killed by one of your gladiators because he's so fast, and often he's getting killed by something else or whatever. But with thorns, you don't even need to hit him to take him out. I think you've got this one.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's have a look. Yep, and Scavo got both. He got ranged and melee.
Yeah. Retaliates there, and I missed. Oh, brutal.
Oh, what happened to Crash?
Hit by magic because he doesn't have phase, so he's fast. But that was ugly. Oh, a bit of bloodlust there. We'll see where your Chaos Dragon hits, though. Basically, I'm gone. My gladiator's gone, regardless of where you... Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. No blast then either. What? There we go. Now he's gone. Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, you got it. Well done.
Yeah,
that was really close.
It was nearly 2 weeks in a row of undefeated. He just cheated on that second game. Yeah. You're muted.
Sorry, yeah. That was a good match. Again, it's difficult for me. Like it's easy to when we're playing one rule set to say here's how to play that rule set. But in battle, often you get 3 or 4 2 or 3 rule sets, and it's so difficult to take them all into account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alrighty, so there it is, another action-packed 101. We spent 1 million Glint tonight. We had a look at the Blood and Sunder Ruleset. Don't forget to check out, vote on the DAP competition. Vote for Splinterlands. And yeah, that pretty much covers it. Oh, and the land. And we had another check-in. We'll check in on the land again next week, have a look, see the differences with where that is. But yeah, thanks for joining us on 169. We will be back next week with 170. I'm Boba Fett. Peace out.